Hi, gang, it's Adam.
And Patrick.
Coming up on today's episode, we head to Disney's Animal Kingdom in Walt Disney World to give a few of the park's attractions and experiences a makeover in our feature segment, Do Over Disney. As always, we discuss the latest Disney news, and we close out the show with some quick D. All that and more on today's episode of Gays Do the D.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
Patrick, Homo says what, Kazuki?
Oh. Oh my, Adam, pardon our pixie dust hummel.
Is that even still a thing? Do people still say that? Do the kids still say that? Homo says what?
I hope not. I really hope for the sake of all of our LGBTQ plus kids out there that no one says that anymore.
I don't know. I kind of hope that the LGBTQ plus kids are saying it to each other and kind of winking at each other.
Okay, fair. I can get on board with that, maybe.
Let's reclaim Homo says what, everybody.
Got it. Starting here, starting now.
Oh, Patrick, how are you doing?
You know, I'm hanging in there, Adam. I'm delightful. I'm frustrated. I'm happy. I'm sad. I'm tired. I'm awake. I'm here. I'm all the things.
What? The frustration. Do we need to talk about that? Do we need to address that right at the top of the podcast?
Oh, I imagine we will when we get into some feedback. We'll get there.
Okay, so it's an ongoing frustration.
It really is. It really is. How are you? How are you, Adam?
I'm doing very well, thank you. Matthew is currently out of town, Patrick.
Oh.
So you know what that means.
Slumber party with the dog.
That's right. It means that Penny and I sleep, but while we are awake, we are catching up with the gals of the HBO Max prestige drama, The Gilded Age.
Good for you.
And Patrick, we're catching up with the gals of the prestige Bravo drama, The Real Housewives of New Jersey.
Oh, not good on you. Nope, can't get on board with that. Not into it, but I appreciate your appreciation for them.
Well, maybe I'll get back into your good graces with this one. We're catching up with the gals, Patrick.
Uh-oh.
Of the prestige Paramount Plus drama, Ink Master.
Oh. I don't know that show, but maybe I need to get into it. You know, fun fact, Dan is also out of town this weekend, and so I am having a slumber party with a pizza.
Oh, I did McDonald's last night, and let me tell you something. 42-year-old men have no place eating McDonald's and then going immediately to bed. That is a mistake.
Disagree. Hard disagree. You gotta live your truth.
Well, we have a jam-packed episode to get to, Patrick, but before we get into feedback from last week and all of those shenanigans, we need to talk about a very special event you attended.
Oh. Boy, see, this is my tired and frustration. I was like, where did I go? What did I do? That's right. I last week got to attend Disney Princess the concert here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And boy, was it a delight. It was just a gosh darn delight. I loved every second of it.
Now, many, many years ago, Patrick and I attended the Broadway Princess Party. And this is like a grand rescaling and fully endorsed by Disney version of that concert, right?
That's right. It is now, in fact, a Disney concert. They got wind of it, and instead of shutting them down, they pulled them up. Good job, Disney.
The exact opposite of what Disney is doing.
Fair. Here's what I'll say. Couldn't be a gayer thing out there right now than the Disney Princess concert. So well done. And Benjamin Rahola is living his full truth on stage. As a gay man, it is very clear that he is, and he's a national treasure now, in my opinion.
Living his dream, really. And for those who don't know, we did have Benjamin and Susan Egan on the podcast also many episodes ago.
True story, true story. And fun fact, I happened to slip them a note that I was going to be there that night, and they got back to me and said, hey, stick around in the theater and we'll come out and say hi to you after the show. And they did just that. So I got to live my childhood and adult fantasies and have a chat with Susan Egan and Benjamin Rauhala.
I feel it's incumbent upon me to ask, Patrick, because all of our Tweedles who have not experienced the concert and have not met Susan or Benjamin, they need to know, what do they smell like?
Roses and glitter.
Okay.
Fun fact, Susan Egan, tiniest woman out there. She is so petite and lovely. I was shocked. Everyone just looks enormous on stage. You know how that works. Everyone, when they're on stage, everyone looks 11 feet tall. In person, my height or shorter.
You felt like a giant standing beside her.
I did, for several reasons, but yeah, I sure did.
Well, that's wonderful that you got to experience that. I know that another one of our Tweedles, Brianna, tagged us in a post because she went to the concert and just absolutely loved it and got to meet Susan and some of the other cast members as well. So, Patrick, I'm assuming you're giving your full endorsement to check out this brand new, larger-than-life version, now fully endorsed by Disney Princess the Concert.
Full endorsement. One of the funniest things that happened that night, at the end of the concert, they're doing a Frozen medley, and Snow comes into the audience, and it was like a tiny child princess mosh pit in the theater. It was hilarious.
Do we want to give them that kind of power, those kids?
We really do. Any chance you get to put on a princess gown and dance in snow, take it. Take that chance.
Truer words were never spoken. Well, I'm glad you had a fantastic time, Patrick. Before we move on to last week's episode, Patrick, you have a Disney trip coming up. Tell us about it.
I do indeed. I'm going to be in Walt Disney World this March 30th through April 4th for the Run Disney Weekend, the springtime surprise, the first ever springtime surprise Run Disney Weekend. I'll be in Art of Animation room 304. Just kidding. But I do want any Tweedles who are going to be there that weekend. Reach out to GDTD Podcast and let us know if you want to meet up, maybe get a button. I would be happy to say hello to you. And if you have any questions, some things you want me to look out for while I'm there on the trip, let us know.
Love that. And of course, Tweedles, we will have a full trip report from Patrick when he returns in our next episode.
Should I return for our next episode? Let's just be clarifying.
That sounded very cryptic, Patrick.
Listen, there's work to be done in Florida. I may need to stay there and figure it out for them.
Your administrative duties may keep you in Florida. I understand.
Exactly that.
All right. As promised, let's talk about last week's episode. In our news segment, we had a discussion and we gave some details regarding Florida's Don't Say Gay bill. And a couple of our Tweedles reached out to us. First up, we heard from Kevin, who you can find on Instagram at KDevo11. Kevin says, thank you so much for bringing to attention what is happening here in Florida and all over the country. Being an out gay elementary teacher in Florida, I have had many conversations with friends outside of the state thinking they can do nothing about it because they don't live in Florida. People don't realize that they can still donate, post, email, and whatnot. I also appreciate that you always make a point that it's not everybody. My school, we are K through 8, participated in the walkout that happened a few weeks ago. I had third graders out there protesting as well. People would be surprised with how much they know and understand. My husband came and spoke on our leadership panel, and one of the third graders asked him, what is it like being an LGBTQ male in the sports field? My PTSA posted about and emailed lawmakers. It was pretty amazing to see my school community come together like that. He goes on to say, another one of my students wrote to every senator who voted against the bill saying how proud she was of them for standing up for things that are wrong, and then wrote a letter to every senator who voted for the bill saying how incredibly angry she was at them. The kids know, they know everything that is going on, and you can't fool them.
Try as you might, you cannot fool the children.
That's right. And Kevin, thank you for reaching out to us. You know we support teachers on this podcast, and we didn't really talk about the effect the bill could have on teachers. We did mention, obviously, that teachers would be essentially muzzled when it came to having conversations about LGBTQ families. And so, teachers, we are standing right beside you. We completely oppose this bill, and in an already stressful time for you. I cannot imagine how Florida teachers are putting up with this kind of nonsense.
True story. And two great points that you brought up as well. It is not everybody in Florida, obviously, as we know from you, Kevin. So careful when you use language out there, folks, about saying, I'm mad at Florida. You're not. You're mad at some people in Florida who are trying to make life hard for other people in Florida. And so, just keep that in mind. And also the point that if you don't live in that state, it doesn't mean you can't help. Spread the word, donate, write letters. Every ounce of help is helpful in Florida. Moving on, we had Juan writing to us from Instagram at Jedi Trousers. Juan says, hopefully you don't mind me wading into this as a non-US based tweetle, but I agree with so much of what you guys said, and the Don't Say Gay bill really echoes anti-LGBTQ plus laws I grew up under here in the UK. We had Section 28 in force from 1988 up to 2003, which effectively banned teachers and schools from talking about queer people's lives, creating a vacuum of information and a culture of fear. So it was truly heartbreaking to see Bob Chapek essentially say it's not important to oppose that awful Florida legislation or even make a statement. The message he gave us as a community was that we don't matter to Disney, which is very hard to take when so many of us consider it our home and somewhere we feel safe. Such a great point. I can absolutely understand the feeling to want to boycott Disney in some way, but I think now more than ever, we need to stake out our territory as a community and make ourselves heard in this space. I've no doubt there'll be plenty of anti-LGBTQ plus people who felt emboldened by Disney's lack of opposition to the homophobic legislation, but they need to know that we're not going anywhere, and this brand, this fandom, and the Disney parks are still our home for both guests and cast members. I have a trip over to Disney World in just a few weeks, and while this event has naturally soured my excitement a little, it's also emboldened me to be more open in my own small way. It's not a huge statement, but I have this gay AF rainbow backpack that I was actually a little nervous to wear, but now I'm absolutely going to wear it loudly and proudly in the parks. Hopefully, it'll lead to some small moments of solidarity, if nothing else. I think the important thing to remember is that because of LGBTQ plus cast members and fans being loud and visible in the face of Disney's failure to do the right thing, the company leadership has been forced to apologize and admit they were wrong. While I hope it turns into real action and a commitment to do better as a company, the admission of failure was still pretty incredible. It feels like a watershed moment after which Disney can no longer do the bare minimum for the LGBTQ plus community because we just won't let them get away with it. Ooh, you said some things, Juan. You said some things. And yeah, 100% on board with everything you just said.
Yes, thank you for writing to us, Juan, so eloquently. It is great to hear that we have Tweedles from across the pond and all around the world who are reaching out to us in support of calling Disney to task on this issue.
100%. And are you going to be in the parks when I'm there, Juan? Let me know. Let's meet up. I want to see that gay AF backpack.
Patrick will give you a gay AF pin to add to your backpack.
I really will. I truly, truly will.
All right. So thank you, everybody, for reaching out to us. We sincerely appreciate it. And keep the conversation going. We'd love to hear from more of you. We'll happily read your comments on the podcast. Turning to our feature segment from last week's episode, Patrick, we talked about Turning Red, which is available now on Disney+. We gave our spoiler-free review of it. And first up, we heard from Tammy on Facebook. Patrick, we had a Facebook comment. Can you even believe that?
We have a Facebook page?
You can find Tammy on Facebook at Tammy Quigley. Tammy says, loved it. Characters include Asian Canadian family, diabetic kids, wheelchair users, a chubby girl, an Indian Canadian, a character wearing a hijab, a character wearing a chic turban, people of all colors from all over the world. I don't think I've ever watched a kids movie with this much authentic diversity and culture. I'd never seen this kind of diversity as a child from my small hometown, and it's huge to me that this movie has this kind of representation. Also, I have always been a big girl all of my life. I've never seen a Disney Pixar movie with a chubby girl as a character. It's a great break from princesses. I love that this movie was made for tweens and middle schoolers. Parenting a tween and a teenager is hard. The lying, the rebelling, the disrespect, the hiding and covering up, the things you don't think your kids know about but do, men menstruating, the big emotions. I mean, intermediate and middle school kids have some big emotions going on all the time. The parenting, the overreacting, expecting perfection, the mistakes, the different paths the kids take from the parents, decision-making and growing for both parents and children are complicated. This movie is real life. It's relatable. This opens the doors for meaningful conversations with your children. My son may be a father to a girl one day. Growing up is so hard.
Isn't that just the truth?
Absolutely. I mean, we talked about how every single person who watches this movie will be able to find something to relate to in it because we all experienced those super awkward teenage years and had parents who we felt may have been overbearing or not supporting us enough in our decisions.
Any day now, I think I might get out of my super awkward stage. Any day now, I'm crossing my fingers that'll happen on this Disney trip, maybe.
Wouldn't that be an awakening? In Walt Disney World, you finally reach the other end of puberty, Patrick.
I'm going to grow 5 inches next week. Finally going to hit that growth spurt. All right, moving on, we have Juin again writing to us again from Instagram at Jedi Trousers. Juin says, I absolutely loved turning red. Man, I wish I could turn into a giant red panda and have people hug my giant fluffy body.
I think there are communities where you can do that, Juin.
Yeah, you don't have to turn into a giant red panda in order for that to happen.
Or if it's attractive to you, you can actually slip into a giant red furry panda suit and have some fun.
Oh, that makes me uncomfortable and a little happy at the same time.
I know. Find your people, Juin. I if you want that, I believe it's attainable for you. And last up, we heard from Chris. Chris, our friend Chris, who you can find on Instagram at wishful_thinking. We got to get Chris back on the pod, Patrick. Chris says, I absolutely adored Turning Red. I loved the ways that it was not afraid to fully go there and embrace all its wacky, wild, emotionally rich dynamics.
Oh, they went there. Oh, they went there, Chris.
They did indeed. So Tweedle feedback, positive all around. We know there were some, do we even need to talk about it? Let's not talk about it. Some dissenting voices out there in the world on social media, some dummy parents, there, I said it, who felt uncomfortable, maybe having to have some conversations with their kids after watching this movie. Get out of here.
Go home. Go home. Just kidding. Everyone gets to have a voice except for those people.
Reach out to us if you have questions about how to talk to kids. We'll point you to some websites and counselors who may be able to assist you with that.
Gays do the D, bringing families together and tearing some apart.
Well, we'll see how Juin's family feels about him becoming a furry. Yeah, but
Fair.
I think they're going to stick with him. They're going to stick with him.
We believe in you. We believe in you, Juin. Well, now that we've talked about a movie from our past, Adam, we have to talk about a TV show in our future. That's right. The trailer for Ms. Marvel dropped, which will start streaming on Disney Plus this June 8th, 2022. Adam, thoughts, opinions?
The marvelous Mrs. Maisel Marvel. Written and created by Amy Sheridan Palladino. Just kidding. Of course it's not.
What a great crossover that would be.
Yeah. I mean, come on. A fast-talking superhero? Yeah, let's get into it. Maybe Lauren Graham makes an appearance. I don't know.
Interested in that.
Regardless, love the trailer, love the vibe, love the kind of teenage obsession with superhero-dom that we seem to be exploring in this series.
Interested in the soundtrack that's happening, interested in the art direction that we seem to be getting. I think it's going to be great. It's going to be wonderful. It's going to be beautifully diverse, which we've seen from the trailer. I'm so excited about this TV show.
Trailers are always tricky for me, Patrick, because you already mentioned the soundtrack. It sounds like it's going to have a kind of synth 80s pop sound to it, but at the same time, I'm like, it's just the trailer music. Are we being deceived here?
Fair. That's a fair point. Regardless, whoever did the trailer has great taste in music, so I'm at least happy about that.
Trailer editors, you deserve our applause, but 99% of the time, you are liars when it actually comes to the actual content of the movie.
I will say, I am very happy that Disney Plus is not waiting until later in 2022. I believe we got word that it was going to be pushed to maybe December of this year, so I'm happy that it's happening earlier than we expected it to.
So wasn't it actually going to come out earlier, and then it got pushed back, and then it was potentially going to get pushed back further? This series has really had quite the journey in making it to Disney Plus.
It has. I don't know the story behind why, if it's maybe just they wanted to space out all of these Marvel series differently, or if they needed to order them sequentially somehow. Not really sure what the journey was, but it has been on a time-traveling journey for sure.
Oh, logistical nightmare figuring out how to arrange all of the Marvel projects to make sure they make sense in the MCU. But Patrick, as you pointed out, wonderfully diverse cast, fantastic soundtrack. We think the art direction looks great. We think, or is that a lie too? I don't think so. It seems like it's very prevalent throughout the trailer. So it'll be a fun kind of teenage take on superhero obsession, like the desire to become a superhero.
Yeah. Very interested in this. As we said, it starts streaming on Disney Plus this June 8th, 2022. Moving on, Adam, you've been doing some reading and you have a recommendation, it sounds like, for our Tweedles.
May I take a moment, Patrick?
I wish you would.
As you know, we have a news segment on this podcast, and this wasn't really worthy of the news segment because it wasn't necessarily news or like an update on anything, but I just wanted to draw your attention to a suggested read that I have. So The Hollywood Reporter on March 23rd came out with an article and kind of like an oral history. The title of the article is Beauty and the Beast and its unprecedented Oscar run in 1992, quote, it was a great moment for everyone, end quote. And the article is by Scott Feinberg, and it is fascinating because there are a number of notable names, including Jeffrey Katzenberg and Michael Eisner and Don Hahn, who we've had as a guest on this podcast, all talking about the creation of the film through its Oscar run, because as everyone knows, it was the first full-length animated feature to be nominated for Best Picture. A really fascinating read, very touching, very funny. So if you have a chance, head on over to Google or The Hollywood Reporter and check it out. You will learn something, you will laugh, you will cry a little bit too.
I will check this out. Now, I too have an oral history, but it did not make The Hollywood Reporter.
I say keep your fingers crossed, because if you make it to any level of fame, Patrick, the paparazzi are going to want some details on your history, and they'll want that oral history.
How very dare you. I am incredibly famous in some households. Speaking of an oral history, Adam, I have some This Week in Disney history for you. Here we go. This week in Disney history, starting off with the birthday 112 years ago, everybody. On March 28th, 1910, original host of the Mickey Mouse Club, Jimmy Dodd, was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. As I said, Dodd was the OG host of the Mickey Mouse Club and remained on the show for the first 4 years of its run. Dodd was a very gifted musician, singing original songs on almost every episode of the show, and fun fact, he actually wrote the theme song for the show, the Mickey Mouse March.
Jimmy Dodd was like, I want full creative control of the Mickey Mouse Club.
The original Mickey Mouse Club diva, Jimmy Dodd.
I love that name too, Jimmy Dodd. It had to have been Jimmy Dodd. Jimmy Dodd had to be the host.
Such a great name. It's a perfect, like, newsboy name. You know what I mean?
Jimmy Dodd!
Give me a drink, Jimmy Dodd. Hey, kid. That's what I think of when I think of that name. I don't know where my mind is right now. Let's move on. 68 years ago, on April 2nd, 1954, a pivotal moment in Disneyland's creation occurred when Disney and ABC signed an agreement for $500,000 in cash and $4.5 million in guaranteed loans to build and operate Disneyland. In exchange, Disney agreed to air their weekly one-hour special about Disneyland on ABC. ABC also got an 8-year commitment from Disney to use its library of films to be aired as one-hour specials. ABC also received 35% ownership of Disneyland, and they would receive, now this I did not know, 100% of all profits from the park's food concessions for the next 10 years.
Interesting. I didn't know that either.
Yeah, what a fascinating agreement they came upon.
I know this is not a groundbreaking statement, but it's so funny to hear about the amount of money it took to build Disneyland. And like in comparison to like just additions that we're building onto parks now, where they far exceed that amount.
Oh, I mean, $500,000 now buys you a trash can in Disney World, I think.
Yeah, but it's themed, Patrick. It's a themed trash can.
It's a Rapunzel trash can. Oh.
Why is that so funny?
It's true. I mean, this is true. Because it's true. That's why it's funny.
You're right. You're right. And we'll buy it. We will pay it because we're idiots.
We sure will. We absolutely will.
Well, thank you, Patrick. Wonderful this week in Disney history, as always. And before we head into the news, it's time, everybody. It's time for the big announcement you've all been waiting for. We're talking about the winners of our Say Gay giveaway. We have one Instagram winner and we have a Patreon winner. But before we get to those names, we have to say thank you to everyone who has purchased our Say Gay items. A lot of you have been posting to Instagram and tagging us, and it's wonderful to see you supporting Equality Florida with your purchases. As a reminder, 100% of the proceeds that we receive from our merch store through June will go to Equality Florida. So every time you make a purchase, the money that we would receive from that purchase gets automatically sent to Equality Florida. And of course, you don't need to purchase from our merch store. You can donate directly to Equality Florida at eqfl.org.
And tacking on to all of that, Adam, again, before we get to those winners, everyone's listening like, just tell us who won. But we're not going to tell you who won just yet. Because we have to give a thank you, a shout out, a we love you to TeePublic. They are our online merch supporters. Basically, TeePublic is where we sell all of our merch. They reached out to us. They heard what we were doing. They reached out to us, and they have generously offered to donate an additional $1 for every apparel item sold through June, up to $1,000. Now, this is not limited to just our Say Gay apparel. This is anything in our shop. TeePublic also will be donating the Instagram and Patreon winners t-shirts for this very giveaway. So thank you, TeePublic.
Yes, thank you so much, TeePublic. Okay, on to the winners. Our Instagram winner is Miranda, who you can find on Instagram at, I love this handle, Gordita_crunch.
Ooh, that makes me hungry. Perhaps I won't be going to bed with a pizza tonight. Perhaps I'll be going to bed with a Gordita Crunch.
Why limit yourself to one, Patrick? Dan's out of town. Go hog wild.
That's right. It's going to be a very different oral history in my bed tonight with a Gordita Crunch. Oh, dear. Well, thank you. Thank you, Miranda, for posting about us, for entering our contest. Thank you for knowing who we are in the first place. And congratulations. We'll be reaching out to you shortly to get all the information we need from you to send you that t-shirt. And of course, we have a Patreon winner. All of our Patreon family members did not have to do a thing. They just had to exist and be who they are, and they could win one of those shirts. Our winner from our Patreon family is Drew. Congratulations, Drew. We will be reaching out to you very shortly to get your information as well.
Gosh, I love giving away stuff, Patrick.
It feels good, especially when you're giving away stuff that goes to a good cause.
That's right. So congratulations to our winners. Thank you again to TeePublic. And with that, it is time that we zip, zap, zop our way into the news, Patrick.
If you hear some crunching, it's because I'm eating a Gordita Crunch during your news segments.
Patrick, I'm hoping that this Say Gay update will alleviate some of your frustration.
Try it, Adam. Let's see what happens. I'm heated today.
I love that you took that as a threat. Like, go ahead, bring it on.
I dare you to try to make me happy.
Following the backlash from Disney CEO Bob Chapek's delayed response to Florida's Don't Say Gay bill, several branches of the Walt Disney Company released statements of support for the queer community, including Disney Plus, Pixar, and Marvel, among others. Last Tuesday, Disney Parks released its own statement, quote, Disney Parks Experiences and Products is committed to creating experiences that support family values for every family and will not stand for discrimination in any form. We oppose any legislation that infringes on basic human rights and stand in solidarity and support with our LGBTQIA+ cast, crew and Imagineers and fans who make their voices heard today and every day, end quote. That same day, several hundred Disney cast members in both Florida and California walked off the job to protest the company's response to the bill. According to a March 22nd NPR story, the full-scale walkout came after Disney employees planned a series of smaller walkouts during their 15-minute breaks to urge the company to take a stronger stance against the legislation. In an open letter, Disney employees wrote, quote, "The recent statements by the Walt Disney Company leadership regarding the Florida legislature's recent Don't Say Gay bill have utterly failed to match the magnitude of the threat to the LGBTQIA plus safety represented by this legislation. Primarily, those statements have indicated that leadership still does not truly understand the impact this legislation is having, not only on cast members in the state of Florida, but on all members of the LGBTQIA plus community in the company and beyond," end quote. As a reminder, Bob Chapek has apologized for not speaking out sooner and has promised to reassess the company's approach to advocacy, including political donations in Florida. Company executives announced during a town hall meeting with employees last week that Chapek would embark on a listening tour with cast members in an effort to assuage their concerns over Disney's response to the legislation. Still, organizers claimed that some employees of Disneyland in California who did not feel safe to walk out Tuesday were told they couldn't wear Pride or trans Mickey pins, which they said Disney itself sells to show their support. And finally, according to a March 18th Variety exclusive, Patrick, Pixar's next feature film, Lightyear, will feature a same-sex kiss. Lightyear features a significant female character, Hawthorne, voiced by Uzo Aduba, who is in a meaningful relationship with another woman. While the fact that the relationship was never in question at the studio, a kiss between the characters had been cut from the film. However, the kiss has been reinstated into the movie. In Pixar's 27-year history, there have been just a small handful of unambiguous LGBTQ characters of any kind, but according to multiple former Pixar employees who spoke with Variety on the condition of anonymity, creatives within the studio have tried for years to incorporate LGBTQ identity into its storytelling in ways big and small, only to have those efforts consistently thwarted.
Okay, Adam. I'm feeling a little bit better. Not a lot, but a little bit better.
I know, it started off really much more positive, and then I kind of ended it on a Pixar bummer, didn't I? I mean, I guess great that the kiss is back in the film, but like a kiss in a film is not going to be enough. Like, we need to see significant relation development between these two women in this Pixar film.
Say that, Adam. Say that and say gay.
I guess overall, I just feel that it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of energy on our part to kind of keep Disney, and by Disney, I mean Disney leadership, and by Disney leadership, I mean Bob Chapek, on his toes, right? Like, he needs to be on it going forward when it comes to LGBTQ representation and support company-wide.
That's right. We need to be the ones to tell Disney what is actually enough. They don't get to have a say in that anymore because they haven't gotten it right so far.
So we're watching you. We're watching you more closely than we were before, Disney.
We have cameras. That got dark real quick.
Creepy, too. It's creepy.
To quote Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, "My people come and go so quickly here. I'm so gay. I'm so gay, Adam." But things are coming and going very quickly as well in Walt Disney World. Now say it with me, everyone. As of this recording, the Tumble Monkeys are returning to Festival of the Lion King. There's a joke somewhere in there about things coming and going quickly, but we have to move on. It's true, though. The gays have demanded it, and Disney has finally heard us. No specific date has been set yet for the return of the Tumble Monkeys, but I happen to have a source close to the show who says, hopefully this summer. Gay days, anyone? Gay days? Tumble Monkeys? I see it. I see it happening.
Say gay by saying yay to those Tumble Monkeys.
I like this. That needs to be a t-shirt. Moving on, the Spirit of Aloha will not be returning to the Polynesian Resort. Also not returning, nobody's favorite restaurant and bar, the ESPN Club, is officially closed alongside the boardwalk. Now, in a real out with the old, in with the gay situation, this location will be replaced with the Cake Bake Shop by Gwendolyn Rogers. couldn't be a more different location.
We are winning this war. We are winning this war.
We are slowly turning Disney into officially the gayest place on earth. The Cake Bake Shop is expected to open in 2023. And just when you thought things couldn't get any gayer, Adam, the H2O Glow After Hours Party at Typhoon Lagoon is also back. The first date of 2022 will be on May 28th, with tickets going on sale this April 1st. Now, I feel like Gay Days might want to consider extending their events to start on May 28th with an after-hours pool party. I'm just putting it out there.
Adults only, suits optional.
That's not what makes it, that is what makes it gay. And finally, everybody, masks, interestingly, are no longer required for vaccinated guests on the Disney Skyliner. Now, show of hands, who already wasn't wearing a mask while on the Skyliner? Who among us did not whip that mask off as soon as you lift it off the ground?
It was strange because they were only loading parties that knew each other, right?
I think so. I don't know how they're doing it anymore, but you're generally not sitting with someone you don't know. But I mean, maybe sometimes you are. I don't know how it's working anymore. But I think Disney just stopped the war on masks in the Skyliner. They could not make it happen.
I mean, truly, I would assume just based on the breezes you experience, it seems very well ventilated in there.
It seems it. Now, it should be noted that masks are still required on the monorail and on Disney buses for all guests, regardless of vaccination status. So keep those masks with you when you go to the parks, folks. And masks are still required for all unvaccinated guests. And I truly hate saying that. Get vaccinated. I love you all. I love you. You're perfect. Now get vaccinated.
Right. And I don't mean to make light of masks in general, but just, if you're with your own party in a Skyliner car, it just seems like unnecessary.
It seems unnecessary. It's true. But listen, we won. We won that war.
So we've got a cake shop coming and we've got mask freedom in the Skyliner cars.
We do. And after hours pool parties and tumble monkeys. I think we're winning the gay war.
Patrick, I'm shocked you didn't cover the biggest story of all of these. Minivans are returning.
Thank goodness.
March 15th, Patrick. The Ides of March, typically a day associated with bad omens.
I'm worried. I'm worried about this story. Okay, keep going.
On March 15th, Disney Vacation Club announced proposed plans to develop a new Disney Vacation Club villa at Disney's Polynesian Village Resort.
That is happy news. I thought you were going to stab me, like Caesar.
I mean, have you seen the renderings? I don't know.
At 2, Adam.
Inspired by the early concepts for Disney's Polynesian Village Resort, the Imagineers working on the project are honoring the past while furthering the resort's story with the innovative addition. Situated on the shores of Seven Seas Lagoon, the new DVC Villa's tower would complement the existing resort and evoke the spirit of the Pacific Islands, while offering additional rooms. Duh. This is their press release. Okay, I just am reading their press release. With additional rooms, new recreation offerings, dining options, and stunning views of the Magic Kingdom. Bill Derrickson, Senior Vice President and General Manager of Disney Vacation Club, stated, quote, "It's no secret that our members and guests love the monorail resorts at Walt Disney World. Expanding our Disney Vacation Club offerings at the Polynesian would give our members and guests yet another incredible option for staying close to the magic while making vacation memories that last a lifetime," end quote. The new DVC villas are projected to open in late 2024, Patrick.
That seems pretty quick for a full tower to be erected.
Well, I mentioned the renderings, and a lot of people have been pointing this out, and I tend to agree. They look very similar to Reflections, a Disney lodge, and they also look very similar to the new DVC tower that's being built in Disneyland. So they may be doing some repurposing here. Some of the plans may already be, quote unquote, completed, so to speak.
So it's a lift and land situation.
Kind of a lift and land situation, I think. But overall, Patrick, what do you think of the look of this?
Scale of 1 to 10, I'm at a 5 with it, I guess. I don't know. My hair wasn't blown back by it, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I agree with that. They seem to be kind of giving a nod to the Polynesian as opposed to like fully leaning into the styling of the Polynesian. I've seen online people referring to this as the Poly Day Inn.
Oh, I like that. Yep. That's a PK joke for sure.
Patrick, there are few things I love more in this life than a makeover, a refresh, so to speak.
A glow up.
Absolutely. A little hair zhuzh, a little makeup zhuzh, and suddenly you're looking fantastic. And yes, I am talking about myself.
Oh, fantastic. Throw in a gordita crunch and I'm there.
Yes. It's important to stay nourished while you're getting a makeover.
There is no nourishment in a gordita crunch.
But Patrick, the time has come for us to return to a very popular segment in GDTD history. I'm talking about Do Over Disney, which we premiered so many episodes ago, way back in episode 153.
That was forever ago, it feels like.
And what is Do Over Disney? Well, as I alluded to, it is essentially a makeover. Yes, we are heading into a Disney park, and we're fixing things that we think need fixing.
That's right. We're going to be Fix-It Felix on the Disney parks.
We are indeed. In episode 153, we kind of hopped around. We did some Magic Kingdom. We did some Hollywood Studios. We did some Disneyland. But for this episode, we're going to stick to one park. We're heading to Disney's Animal Kingdom in Walt Disney World.
We're finally bringing focus to this segment.
And really to the podcast, Patrick. And that is what our Tweedles have been praying for 191 episodes.
It's happening, folks. It's happening. We have notes this time. We're gonna...
Well, I have an admission, Patrick. I do have an admission to make. I may not be as focused in this segment. I have notes, but I am going to have to kind of wing it a little bit more this week. It was a busy work week. No one wants to hear that. It's a very boring topic, but we're going to have some fun. We're going to keep things light, and we're going to talk about things that we feel might need a little bit of a glow up, as Patrick referenced in Disney's Animal Kingdom.
And maybe someday our own podcast will get a glow up as well.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again, Patrick. That seems like a lot of work.
This is true. Let's stick to what we know.
Or what we don't know, really.
That's right. And that's how to be a mess. That's what we know.
Well, let's put our Imagineering caps on, Patrick, shall we? Let's head into Disney's Animal Kingdom. I'm going to let you take the lead. Give me your first attraction experience, restaurant, bathroom, what have you, whatever it is in Disney's Animal Kingdom that you feel needs some work done.
Some attention needs to be done in Animal Kingdom. Now, my first idea is a selfish one because I love these movies so much. I want Animal Kingdom to incorporate the rescuers into the park. Bianca and Bernard need to come to Animal Kingdom and just be revitalized in Disney in general, I feel like.
I think that makes perfect sense. A beloved Disney classic. A lot of our Tweedles have talked to us in the past about how much they love the Rescuers. Patrick, you are a huge fan of the Rescuers, so it makes perfect sense. And also, I mean, animals, hello, bring them in to Disney's Animal Kingdom.
Right on the nose there with the animals. Yeah, would love to see a Bernard and Bianca meet and greet, but I think this would be a really interesting theme or makeover for Rafiki's Planet Watch. So what if they turned this area more into a rescuers themed area where it's sort of the rescuers headquarters? They could still have the veterinary clinic for the Animal Kingdom animals. Guests can learn more about conservation and animal care. Maybe there's a scavenger hunt or a mystery to solve here. Maybe it's instead of the petting zoo area, there's a little stage show for a presentation of some kind featuring Bernard and Miss Bianca. And I said this is clearly a selfish idea on my behalf because I love them so much, but I feel like it's time just to bring them back in general, as I said, in Disney. Maybe there's a new movie to be made. Maybe there's a Disney Plus TV show to come out. I don't know, but bring back the rescuers.
Patrick, where do I even begin with the brilliance of this suggestion? First of all, I would like to applaud your absolute boldness in suggesting that the conservation station be torn down and rebuilt as something else.
That's right. Displace those animals, everybody.
So Rafiki's Planet Watch, conservation station, you have to take that train out to it, right? I love the idea of focusing it a bit more and making Bernard and Bianca kind of like your hosts for that section. I love the idea of still having the educational element to it. Might I add that the surgeries being performed on the animals actually happen to Disney characters?
Oh dear. Baloo's getting neutered, everybody.
Oh, that's a joke. Come on, everybody. No, this is a great idea. I love this idea, Patrick.
Thank you so much. I just feel, here's what I'll say. I'm gonna say a bold statement, everybody. There is a lot, and rightfully so, a lot of The Lion King in Animal Kingdom. I think they need to sort of diversify their portfolio within Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, let's take a look at what we've got, and let's maybe tailor or create more of a capsule collection of Lion King offerings in the Animal Kingdom.
That's all I want.
I think that's a great suggestion. I endorse it, Patrick.
Seal of approval from Adam. Moving on, what are you bringing to the table? Fix It Felix Adam to the Animal Kingdom.
So glad you asked, Patrick. I'd like to address the oasis at the front of the park.
Please won't you address it?
I will address it. Oasis, how are you? Good morning to you and yours. No, here's what I think might need to happen. Not a major reworking, but I think what would be kind of fun, and maybe not right away in the morning when the park opens, because it's a mad dash for Pandora or the safari. We all know it. But maybe after that initial rush is over, wouldn't it be fun as you're coming in to have character meet and greets in different little pockets in the oasis?
I like this idea. Now, there are some animal spots within the oasis, but here's what I'll say. They're almost always away, sis. I never see them.
That's right. They're either hiding or it's just, they're not morning animals. They don't care to be seen. I don't know what it is, but they always seem to be kind of tucked away where you just can't really get a great view of them. So I thought it'd be fun to bring in animal characters, walk around characters, to have character meet and greets and photo ops there, because it is so beautiful in there. And I think it would be a great kind of marriage of Disney IP and the messaging of Animal Kingdom.
Love it. Love this idea. I am fully on board. Seal of approval.
Great. Wow, we are really making big swings and changes here. And Patrick, I have to say, I did feel a little nervous about this because Animal Kingdom has more of a weight behind it, right? Because there is a message of conservation and protecting the planet. So there's just kind of more meaning behind this park. So it's tough to say this needs to go or this needs to stay.
I'll say it. Some things need to go and some things need to stay.
Okay. Yeah. Maybe it's not so tough for you. It was harder for me, but I'm more of an empath,
That's true. And I am heartless.
All right, Patrick, what is your next change to Animal Kingdom?
Well, I think this will actually come as a shock to you, Adam, because I've said it many, many times. I do love Dino Land USA, but I think, folks, it's time. I think it's time. I love Dino Land USA. I love Dinosaur the Ride. It's one of my very favorite rides. I love Restaurantosaurus, but I think it's time we make that switch, everybody. And I think this is where we put Zootopia within Animal Kingdom. It's a healthy chunk of land. Mm-hmm. The ride track could just switch over to an awesome Judy Hopps car chase situation. Mm-hmm. You could even sort of keep the carnival theme here, but maybe it was made by animals from Zootopia instead, with all these different levels of giraffes and monkeys and critters and what have you. There could be a popsicle ice cream stand from the movie where Judy meets Nick. I just think there's a lot of possibilities here, and as I said, it's a nice chunk of land where you wouldn't have to do much. You would just sort of re-theme it to Zootopia.
And as you referenced, could be somewhat of a Lifton land, right? Because in Shanghai Disney, they're currently developing Zootopia Land. Right,
yeah. And maybe it's the same as that, or they just have their own version of Zootopia or a different section of Zootopia here in Animal Kingdom.
Yeah, Dino Land, made my list as well of things that I might want to consider changing. I am not as big of a supporter of Dinoland USA as Patrick is, but it's fallen on rough times. And it's time to give another look at that space and what can be done. And I love the idea of a Zootopia-themed area.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What would you turn Dinoland USA into? Did it make your list of something that you want to spruce up or talk about even today on the pod?
Well, it's something that I've mentioned before and a lot of people have mentioned. This isn't officially on my list. Okay, so we're going off the record here. But I do think that we need to have a South American area added to Disney's Animal Kingdom. And this would be a great opportunity to kind of usurp that space and say, no more dinos. I mean, they didn't exist anyway, right? But no more dinos. And, let's focus on South America and the animals of that region and put in some kind of fun ride. Doesn't need to be like an Indiana Jones style ride, but something.
I love that. I love that idea. Perhaps you can incorporate the little brother in Encanto who can speak to animals, and that could be a ride, an Encanto ride within that area.
Listen, I'll take an Encanto ride anywhere Disney wants to put it.
Fair enough. Yeah, South America does need to be represented more in general in Disney, I would say.
Yes, I agree. So just something. But I do love the idea of Zootopia. It was a huge hit film. They're making a sequel, right?
I believe so. At least that's the story we're hearing. I don't know when it's going to come out, though.
Or is it going to be a series, or is it going to be both? I can't remember. But anyway, we know there's more Zootopia content to come in the future. So why not take advantage of that and develop that as an area that, yes, includes animals, but will also be kind of a great metropolitan area within Disney's Animal Kingdom.
And it seems like maybe too much of an obvious fit for Animal Kingdom, but I think it would be a huge hit there. That's just my opinion.
Well, Disney's never embraced the obvious before, so it's time they started doing that.
Why not start? Why not start today? Why not start? Okay, so South America wasn't officially on your list, but it's a great idea. What is officially on your list next, Adam?
Officially on my list, everybody take note. I'm going to be talking about Feather Friends in Flight. Now, I'm not talking about Winged Encounters, which happens at the front of the park. Winged Encounters can stay because it's delightful and mind-blowing when those birds seem like they're going to fly right at your head. No, I'm talking about Feathered Friends in Flight, which is currently playing either in front of or maybe now it's reopened back in the Anandapur Theater in the back of the park.
I believe the theater is back up and running.
Fantastic. Glad to hear it. I don't know we need 2 bird shows in Animal Kingdom. It seems a bit like overkill, as beautiful as the birds are.
It's true. I would agree with you. So if you're murdering all of those birds, a murder of crows, if you will, what are you going to put there instead?
Well, if there's one thing Disney's Animal Kingdom needs more of, it's shows, right?
Okay.
No, I'm being facetious. There's too many shows, but let's just take advantage of that theater space while we have it. What I would love to see, Patrick, is kind of a retrospective of Disney animated films featuring animals and music, and maybe call it like King Louie's Swingin' Jungle Jam or something like that, where King Louie's the host of it. King Louie, of course, from the Jungle Book. And then it's kind of like a Vegas stage show of Disney's greatest hits from animated films featuring animals and music.
I like it. I'm on board with this. And yeah, you're right. I think it has to be somewhat of a Jungle Book theme around it, right?
I think so, yeah. But I mean, there can be, like a jazz section from the Aristocats. Like, I'm not limiting it to just jungle animals, but King Louie has a lot of friends, Patrick. I mean, social media has really connected him to animals all over the world. And so he's invited all of his animal friends to the theater to perform this kind of cabaret style show.
And just location based alone, the Jungle Book is set in India, which is sort of around the area of that section of the park anyways. So I think it makes perfect sense.
I think it makes perfect sense too. And anyone who disagrees with me will never have an opportunity to be my friend in real life. That's just the way it goes.
No one loses in that situation. Not one person.
Again, there's a ton of shows already in Animal Kingdom, right? I mean, there's if you include It's Tough to Be a Bug and The Lion King and the remounting or reboot of the Finding Nemo show, there's just a lot of shows going on. So I don't know another show is necessary, but we've got the space. I don't think it would be incredibly expensive to mount a show like this. So let's just make it happen, Imagineers.
I'm into it. And I'll say I'm a showman. I like watching shows. I like having places to sit down often during my stay in the park. So I'm all for show upon show upon show. So seal of approval from Patrick.
I'm flattered you approve. Patrick, that takes us to your final selection for a do-over Disney in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Lay it on us.
That's right. Moving right along. I'm kind of going to copy your idea a little bit, Adam, but I'm going to put it somewhere else. I think that idea for a show might play well in the Discovery Amphitheater, which we all know needs some love, needs some attention, needs some fixing, even though it is brand new, basically. Now, what I have is what I think a simple fix and kind of along the lines of your idea, but maybe more of a parade situation. Now, people used to love the Animal Kingdom parade. I can't remember what it was called, but bring it back on the water. Instead, bring back some literal floats filled with all of your favorite animal characters from Disney history. Give me a Lion King moment. Give me a Jungle Book moment. Give me a Finding Nemo moment. Give me some Zootopia. Whatever. The list goes on and on and on. And then I think there's a simple day-to-night transition, if you will, that happens within the parade. Maybe it turns into more of a water stage show with some musical numbers. Maybe there's a light show that's happening, add a water feature, and you've got a nighttime spectacular on your hands, my friends. Keep it cute, keep it simple, keep it Disney. That's what I say. And this is for all the nighttime spectaculars out there. Simplify it. We just want to end our day on a really fun Disney note. That's my opinion anyways. And don't get too crazy with the ideas because it just doesn't usually happen successfully. So I think simplify. Give me a simple, cute Disney themed show.
Oh, this amphitheater, Patrick, this amphitheater. I mean, for those who don't know, it is the giant lagoon with seating that's kind of in front of Expedition Everest. And it has had a storied history of so many potential shows and shows that have opened and then closed relatively quickly. So to be fair, Patrick, I didn't even address this because I'm just like, I don't even know what to do with this. I mean, it's like, I feel like they've tried a lot of things that just haven't worked. Currently, we've got kite tails going on during the day, and that's just an excuse to watch giant pieces of fabric come crashing down after they're floating in the sky for a bit. So I don't know. This is a great suggestion, but again, like, what is it with this space? Is it cursed? Is it a cursed theater?
It must be cursed. I don't know what it is. Or just the wrong team is involved in trying to put a show there because it has had failure after failure after failure of shows.
It's too big of a space to be in the park and not be utilized. It's gorgeous on its own. I mean, it's just a beautiful area.
It is.
But it's just too much real estate not to be used.
Absolutely. Absolutely true. And I understand there's a lot of logistics that they have to think about when you have something like that within Animal Kingdom. You have to be very conservation oriented. You can't be too loud. You can't have fireworks. You can't have balloons. You don't want to have too much waste happening within the amphitheater as well. I mean, like garbage and trash pickup and everything. So I get that it's hard. It's hard to really get that sweet spot. But I always think that everything they have done so far, they've either way overthought it or way underthought it. With the kite tails I'm talking about, it was just not thought through very well. And what was the illumination show that was happening there with the big flowers that opened up? I can't remember what it was called. I've blocked it from my memory.
Rivers of Light.
Rivers of Light. Rivers of Light. God bless. God bless you, Rivers of Light. Beautiful moments, but just I think that was way overthought and just didn't read to audiences.
Yeah. Do you know what Rivers of Light could have been if they wanted to pull back on it even more? And logistically, again, not an Imagineer. Who knows what kind of planning needed to happen, whatever. But even just at night to have those kind of flotillas with the lighted animals on them, just have them like circling electric water pageant style around that lagoon. Like no show, but just have them be there as a visual treat. Even that would have been something.
Yeah. Something needs to be done in the Discovery Amphitheater. And I think this is an easy fix that even if it's temporary, at least it's something fun to watch.
Yeah, a temporary fix, Patrick. If you want to slap a Band-Aid on this issue, we can do that. But I would like to address it in a more permanent way. Thank you very much.
Well, I just want to slap it in general. But if it's a slap with a Band-Aid, even better.
It is a puzzler. I mean, we are frustrated with it. Imagine how frustrating Imagineering must be with that space. Like, they just don't know what to do with it.
I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure. Yeah. They are, they have an embarrassment of ideas, and the ideas are embarrassing.
Well, it'll be exciting to see if they take your idea or if they come up with something stronger. I challenge them to come up with something stronger than that.
Fair enough. What a weird way to ridicule my ideas.
No, I think it's great. Maybe there needs to be a contest that Disney creates. What should we do with the Amphitheater Lagoon? Leave your suggestions in the box as you exit the park.
Perfect.
Let's figure it out, people. We'll figure it out together, and we'll all be proud of crowdsourcing an experience in Disney's Animal Kingdom.
I'm interested in this. All right, we are moving on to your final idea of how to zhuzh up Animal Kingdom.
That's right. And this is where I don't want to say ran out of steam, because I have the energy, but it again focuses on another show, and I'm talking about It's Tough to Be a Bug. I think maybe that IP is not as celebrated as other movies that have come out since. I know a lot of people are fans of the movie, but it's just not necessarily on people's radar as it once was. So what can we do with that space, that gorgeous, dimly lit, air-conditioned space that is not maybe a 3D screen attraction? It can still be a 3D screen attraction, sure, but maybe we need to just bring it into 2022 and beyond.
Fair. Okay, fair enough. I always get very claustrophobic in that standing area inside the Tree of Life.
Yeah, and I can only imagine now. Like, I haven't been back since the pandemic, but I don't know if I could handle it.
No, thank you.
So I guess my first question for the Imagineers who are listening is there the potential to remove that screen, and is there space for a backstage area there? That's my first question.
So you just want to put storage there.
I mean, let's save on the U-Haul rental facility, Disney. Let's use the Tree of Life to store props and things.
What a wonderful idea.
I mean, that in itself is a sort of form of conservation, but no, I was thinking more of like some kind of, again, show or something to fill that space that's maybe a little bit more relevant, because there have been significant films, very popular films that have been released since A Bug's Life that have an environmental message or some kind of affiliation with nature to them that we could utilize to kind of create a show or create an experience in that space.
That's absolutely true. Or at the very least, maybe let's just update It's Tough to Be a Bug. You know what I mean? Like, the special effects have been far surpassed in smaller venues. And so I feel like there's something better they can do there. Even if it's the same exact IP, just change it up a little bit and revitalize that whole movie franchise anyways.
Or if there is a backstage area, is this a better place to have King Louie's Jungle Jamboree? Because better control of lighting. I mean, you're in a dark space. You could have theatrical special effects, Patrick.
This is true. This is very true. And instead of like spiders coming down, it could be snakes coming down. Just make people wet themselves.
Let's make it as terrifying as possible. Yeah.
Just really embrace the claustrophobia of it and make people absolutely frightened.
So no solid idea here. Probably should have opened with this one, because then I could have built up to my truly genius ideas that I've pitched in this segment. But I think it's time to refresh that and find a new IP to throw in there, or several IPs to throw into the icon of the park.
I fully agree with this. And I think that's just sort of our messaging behind today's episode. You know me, I love Animal Kingdom. I think if it's not my favorite, it's at least in my top 2 favorite parks within Disney World. It does need a little bit of a zhuzh or a facelift or something. It's a scotch dated a lot of the elements of Animal Kingdom.
Which is interesting because it is the newest park. And maybe that's why it hasn't received the updates it needs, because it is the newest park. And so they just think we'll get to it. We know that there are things that need to be addressed. But it also seems like there's the most potential for this park, right? Because we know there's the available land, and we know that there is the message already built into the park, and that Disney has such an incredible history, whether animated or real life, with animals.
Absolutely. And listen, I fully get why, but they leaned in so heavily, as I said earlier in the episode, they leaned so heavily in the Lion King direction with this park, which is great. It makes sense. The Tree of Life, great. That's the centerpiece. There's a Lion King show. But I feel, like you said, there are so many more conservation messages that Disney has done throughout the years since the Lion King that it's time to sort of really revitalize and refresh and use those ideas instead.
Yeah. One thing we didn't talk about that's been brought up a lot is some kind of Wakanda area in Disney's Animal Kingdom. How do you feel about that?
Ooh. Interesting. I don't know how I feel about that, actually. I don't know if this is the spot for Wakanda, because for me, Wakanda is more about technological advances, and I feel like it would be more of an Epcot situation.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I think the problem for me is that there's not the animal association aside from the fact that he's called Black Panther.
Right. Which has deeper meanings than him just actually being a panther, right? You know, there's just a lot more history behind that. So, yeah, I don't know. I feel like, in my opinion, Animal Kingdom is not the place for Black Panther.
I get the African association, obviously, but you're right. There is that tech element to it. And so it's a tricky thing to figure out kind of how that would fit into the park. Unless, Patrick...
Uh-oh.
I mean, that amphitheater is just sitting there.
A Black Panther stage show.
Ski, sky, and stage show.
Oh, dear. Oh, dear. Yeah, no, I feel... I disagree with this. Nope, no Black Panther in Animal Kingdom. Yeah, the Wakanda is set in Africa for sure, but not all of Animal Kingdom is Africa. And let's be clear, Epcot needs to embrace Africa a lot more within Epcot at all, you could say, in Epcot in the World Showcase. So I feel like there's other places for Black Panther.
Yeah, I would love to know what our Tweedles think, not only about where Wakanda can go, because it would be wonderful to have Wakanda somewhere, but also what they think needs a bit of a touch-up in Disney's Animal Kingdom. There are several areas that, as we've said, need to be addressed.
They need some attention, according to us. Now, we've given you million-dollar ideas, but I have a feeling our Tweedles have better ideas than we do.
I don't know. Not sure how you're going to be able to top us, but give it a shot, won't you? You can reach out to us on social media. That's Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast.
Or leave us your ideas in the form of a voice memo or an email at info@gazetothed.com. What other areas can we turn into storage, Adam? Okay,
I mean, that Yeti is just sitting there. He could at least be like holding a couch or like something. Like there's valuable real estate in that attraction.
It's true. Hey, Adam.
Hey, Patrick.
Ooh, I went up, you went down. I go high, you go low. Oh, we are losing our minds, which means we've come to the end of our episode today, and we are as per usual, leaving you with some quick D. It's quick D time, everybody. We are mixing things up. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to do quick D, marry, kill, Disney Plus, and chill.
That's right. It's the classic game we've all played with a Disney spin on it.
Who among us has not wanted to Disney Plus and chill with several Disney characters? But this time, folks, our category is not just Disney, it's actually Pixar. Pixar characters. Who would you marry, kill, Disney Plus, and chill with? Adam, who's going first?
I'd like you to give me your characters first.
Fair enough. Okay. Are you ready, Adam?
I'm ready.
Are you going to marry, kill, or Disney Plus and chill with Woody from Toy Story, Carl, the old man from Up,
hot,
or Anger from Inside Out?
Okay. Wow. You've given me 3 gentlemen.
I have indeed. I know you, Adam. I know you. I know your needs.
I'm going to marry Woody. I'm going to marry Woody.
Okay. Explain yourself.
Lead character.
Great.
Has learned a lot in his 4 Toy Story films and subsequent shorts. So I believe he is fully realized, fully grown into his emotions, and would be of great support to me in my life.
Fair enough. He is a supportive lead character. He's going to be there for you, Adam. He'll always be there for you.
Yeah, and I hope he has some of that Tom Hanks money.
I assume that comes with it, for sure.
Great. So I'm going to marry Woody, although I guess it would have been funnier if I said I was going to Disney Plus and chill with Woody because, I mean, obviously, hey-o. But no, I'm going to kill Carl Fredricksen.
Oh. Okay.
He's close, Patrick. He's lived his life.
He's gone on enough adventures.
Let's reunite him with Ellie.
Oh, euthanasia.
And that means I'm going to Anger.
Oh, God. Nothing has changed. It's really not different.
It's not an angry Patrick. It's anger.
What a great message.
He uses his aggression in creative ways in the bedroom, and I think I might like to explore that.
Fair enough. Yeah, he hops around. He hops around.
All right, Patrick, here are my characters for you. Who are you going to marry, kill, and Disney Plus and chill? Mama Coco?
Oh, no. Okay.
Interesting that you brought up Carl because I did choose Ellie Fredricksen.
Oh, okay.
And Bing Bong.
I mean, I think it's clear. The other two, I just am not sure about which one goes where. I feel bad about, but I'm going to do it. Ellie she's already gone. So it's really just killing a ghost, isn't it? I mean, she's, so I don't feel too bad about it. I'm going to kill Ellie.
The absolute gall you have of killing a character twice.
Yeah, I mean, we knew her fate. She wasn't for this world for very long. We knew that. Get rid of her. Oh, that's wrong, but I'm okay with it. I'm going to marry Mama Coco because, she can... I like shoes. She can keep me well stocked in the shoe department. Isn't that where they work? Don't they make shoes?
I don't know. Did they make shoes?
Or they repaired them or something? Am I thinking of it wrong? But that's what her job's going to be in my life, is keeping me supplied with shoes.
She's very frail. I'm not sure she can make shoes anymore.
She looks like a good cook, too, I feel like. I need a partner who can cook.
She'll make your gorditas for you, for sure.
A crunchy gordita. Absolutely. Thank you, Mama Coco. You can stay. I'm going to marry you. But we're not going to be doing it because I'm getting involved with... What's his name?
Bing Bong.
Bing bong. I mean, with a name like that, you have to explore Bing bong with your ding dong. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? Also, as with most of my Disney Plus and Chill partners, it's all imaginary anyways. It's all in my head.
That will do it for this episode of Gaze Do the D. Thanks for listening. To become a patron of the podcast, visit our website at gazedothed.com/donate. For a donation of any amount, you can receive exclusive Gaze Do the D content and help us continue to bring you the very best Disney news and discussion. Continue the conversation after this episode on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at GDTD Podcast, and submit your questions or show ideas to info@gazedothed.com. Have a great week, everybody. See you real soon.